Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's NHL Best Bets. Yesterday there was a lot of games, some very good ones, and there were many, let's say, predicted outcomes. Las Vegas Golden Knights took a third victory in a row, and I think we should wear these gears until they lose the first game. So let's see when that happens. Our picks were not exactly fully correct, but we had two games there, and maybe show the results what we had. So there you can see those. So we had over and under bet. Under in this case, Columbus was visiting Detroit. The line was 5.5. There were 5 goals, or maybe 4, but the fifth goal that was a bit controversial was also allowed. And after the review, referee decided that this was a goal, even they first signaled it wasn't. But anyhow, the bet was correct. Only 5 goals and under 5.5. Then other game that we picked was Winnipeg at Toronto. Winnipeg couldn't get the scoring going. They lost 1-3. Their sniper Patrick Laine was not playing, but one guy shouldn't be so big role in any team that the result is depending on him. Tommy, how about other games? Anything special that you saw from the last night action?
Yeah, a couple of games I want to highlight for sure from our simulations. Of course, the first one, Boston visiting New York Islanders. We had small value there for the home team. Extremely tight game. It was 1-0 for the Islanders in the end. So well fought match, and we had a little bit of underdog value there, which is not, it hasn't happened so often this season. There was, I think, 3 games tonight that the underdog actually won. So a little bit surprising in that regard. We haven't seen a lot of underdogs winning throughout these first 42 or 43 games played now. Let's take a look at some of the other games. The underdogs, of course, Philadelphia was facing Buffalo. That was very close to our line. The odds, Buffalo beat Flyers 6-1, so a tough night there for Philadelphia defense. We were expecting Philadelphia to do a little bit better, but the odds were actually 59.1%, and our simulations indicated 59% for Philadelphia. So we got the 0.1% value for the Buffalo Sabres there. Like you mentioned, Detroit Columbus, of course, quite a tight match as well. Number-wise, Detroit was actually pretty good in that game, 3-2 for Columbus. We did predict Columbus to win as well as going under clearly, which it did. Luckily, no empty netters there, which is usually the worry when you are betting the under. Then the big favorites, of course, St. Louis beat San Jose 5-4, which was a closer game than expected. We had some value there for St. Louis. Also, Vegas, Arizona, that was 4-2. There we didn't have the value. We believe that Arizona would challenge Vegas a little bit more, but 4-2, not a clear game by any means, but still Vegas managed to beat Arizona, as we can now see from Tuomas's attire for some time. Happy to see you walking around with that in the town. Of course, then we have to highlight our favorites in the simulation. Edmonton lost to Montreal again, twice in a row now. A bad beat for the Oilers, 3-1 for Canadiens. So that's something that we have been predicting Edmonton to do a lot better than they have. So a little bit of a worry there. Of course, Montreal has been overperforming to our simulations a lot, but maybe surprising some, at least us, by their good performances. Really energetic team, really feisty team. Surprisingly productive as well. What's missing there then is Nashville hosting Carolina. Carolina took the spoils there. Like we predicted, we didn't dare to take the away favorites this time as our pick. So it has backfired on us now a couple of times. So maybe moving on to better picks next time. Or what do you see in tonight's games?
Yeah, I think there are a few interesting back-to-back games for a handful of teams, and if we only take a look of the historical track record of these teams, how they have played back-to-back, I think the best bet would be the game that you mentioned, Carolina against Nashville, because Carolina has played on the road with 48.8 win percentage. But then back-to-back away games, they have played 59.1 win percentage. So they have been very good in the back-to-back games when they have been on the road. Vice versa, Nashville in back-to-back home games have struggled a bit, and they have won usually 59% of the home games, but then only 50% of the back-to-back home games. I don't know how many there have been during the last 3 seasons, but anyhow, they haven't been able to perform greatly in those games. So if there's some value and you dare to take road favorite, or was it underdog this time?
It was barely a favorite, but still a favorite, yeah.
Yeah, so that's one bet that you could take if you purely take a look of historical stats. But we have found 2 other games that have better value this time. I can show those here. There is New Jersey visiting Madison Square Garden against Rangers. Rangers got their game going, second game against Islanders. They won it clearly 5-0. New Jersey beat also 2 days ago Boston at their home in overtime 2-1. But we think Rangers is a clear favorite here, and also the odds have some value. So that is our first pick. And then we trust on Washington, the same game what we picked 2 days ago. That time Pittsburgh won in overtime. Game was very even. Washington had their chances like we discussed yesterday. But now the odds plus 120 provide great value for strong team Washington. Only, let's say, uncertainty here is that Pittsburgh has improved their game from the first game towards the third one, and this is their 4th game. So if they continue to improve the game, it might provide some surprises, but we still think Washington is better team, and when last one 50-50 game bounced to Pittsburgh, if this is another 50-50 game, of course it should bounce to Washington. How about any other games that you think are worth to follow up during this day?
Well, those were definitely the best ones that you mentioned. There is, of course, the second game now head-to-head, back-to-back game in Philadelphia with Brian Elliott starting now for Philly in the goal. Buffalo probably goes with Linus Ullmark, not certain yet or not confirmed yet. So there is a little bit of value for Buffalo still. I think Philadelphia was not very strong in their back-to-back games. So something to take a look at. Of course, Philadelphia is still quite a heavy favorite there, about 60%. The odds to win. Another one, of course, our favorites again, Colorado Avalanche visiting Los Angeles, one of the weaker teams in the Western Division. We have Colorado winning by far over 70% of the simulations. The odds indicate around 69%. So the odds are not very great, but there is the value there for a much better team, Colorado Avalanche. And now these are the sort of games that is interesting to see. can Avalanche actually beat these weaker teams in a way that they are able to gather the points, because these are the important ones. If you start losing to the lower teams, it's not enough anymore to beat the rivals on top of the division. So you have to win these games, and it's a different approach than maybe before. In previous seasons, when you have 82 games, you play a little bit against the other conference even, so you can take a little bit easy there. But in this condensed season, there is no time for rest, and you have to be available for 56 games in this season. So have a look at Colorado's performance. They probably are gonna go for attack, because that's their weapon, and let's see how many goals they can score against the quite weak Kings.
Yeah, I think the Philadelphia Buffalo game is interesting, and like you said, the track record of Philadelphia home back-to-back game is not so great, and at the same time Buffalo's away back-to-back record is significantly better than their lousy general away win percentage. So again, statistics show that Buffalo is the team here, but I think after 6-1 beating in home arena against, well, let's say, still upcoming on and maybe a little bit lower quality team in Buffalo, Philadelphia should of course bounce back, but it's difficult to know what kind of mental state they are when they start to play tonight.
Yeah, there's been a long night of video watching in Philadelphia for sure, because of those goals that Buffalo scored. A lot of them could have been prevented by a better defending and a better positioning at least.
Yeah. One question, how about our overall performance? Because picks have struggled a bit, and we are a bit behind our schedule there to make money out of this NHL regular season. But if you would trust simulations and bet every game available, how much money you would have in your pocket?
Yeah, let's go through this, but just to remind that there is more than 820 games left to play in the regular season, so we have time to make it profitable in our picks as well. But the system has done quite well. We're in the plus in all three categories. So side value, we have 42 games now played. Yeah, okay, there was 3 games that are postponed, the Dallas Stars game, so that explains it. So 25 correct, 17 wrong. Plus 267 profit. So we're using even stakes of 100 to each bet. Then in money line, so just a winner, 27 correct, 15 wrong, and plus 374 there. And then for the over-under, we found value in altogether 28 games. So the record is 16-12 and plus 280 profit. So overall is going all right, not as magnificent as it was after the 2 rounds, but of course this will change, and we try to get it going positive all the time, and improve our picks a bit as well, because it doesn't look too good.
Yeah, today was another highlight for the machine against man. That machine is beating any expert here, but I think we can only improve and get both of those picks correct next time.
Yeah, we're improving. The machine is stagnating, so let's do that.
Very good. Let's see how these games go, and we'll come back tomorrow.
Yeah, see ya.